So let's talk about one of the great American mysteries. Not the Bermuda Triangle, not what's actually in a hot dog. No, I'm talking about something far more pervasive, far more culturally significant, and far more visible on every single highway, every suburban street, and every Costco parking lot in this country. I'm talking about the truck that has never, not once, not even by accident, hauled a single thing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You might even own one. And if you do, welcome. This is a safe space. We are not here to judge you. We are here to understand you, scientifically, with deep respect, and maybe just a tiny, tiny bit of mockery. Let's start with the basics. The United States of America is the single largest pickup truck market on the planet, not by a little, by a landslide. Last year, the Ford F-Series sold more units than the next several vehicles combined. The Ram 1500, the Chevy Silverado, the GMC Sierra, these are not just trucks. These are a way of life, a cultural statement, a deeply personal expression of identity that says, I am a man who could haul something if I needed to. I just don't need to, right now, ever. And here's where it gets interesting. Studies, actual peer-reviewed, university-funded studies have found that the majority of pickup truck owners in the United States use their truck bed less than once a month. Less than once a month. Some surveys put the number of owners who never use their bed for hauling at somewhere around 40%. 40%. That is not a rounding error. That is a lifestyle choice. So the question that any rational person would ask is, why? Why does a man who commutes 30 minutes to a desk job, whose heaviest regular cargo is a Starbucks venti latte and a laptop bag, need 6,000 pounds of American steel and 360 horsepower to get there? Why does a man who hasn't been camping since 2011 need a truck with a towing capacity of 14,000 pounds when the heaviest thing he's towed is a mild sense of regret? The answer, my friend, is not logistics. The answer is psychology. Let's go back to the beginning. To understand the truck owner who doesn't haul, you have to understand the story he tells himself. And it's a beautiful story. It goes something like this. I need it for when things come up. That's it. That's the whole story. When things come up. Not when things have come up. Not when things are currently up. When things come up. Someday. In the abstract future. The truck is a preparedness vehicle. It's practically a survival strategy. It's what separates the prepared man from the man who has to call someone else when things come up. The behavioral psychologists have a name for this. It's called identity-based consumption. What it means, in plain English, is that we buy things not for what they do, but for what they say about who we are, or, more precisely, who we believe we are, or who we want to be believed to be. And in the American male psyche, particularly in the 35 to 55 demographic, which, by the way, is exactly who buys the most trucks, the pickup truck is one of the most powerful identity signals available for under $100,000. And let me be honest here, the truck works. As a signal, it absolutely works. There is something about a full-size pickup that communicates capability, self-sufficiency, toughness, and a general sense that this person does not need your help and could probably fix your plumbing if you asked nicely. It's aspirational hardware. It's the physical manifestation of the man you were raised to want to be, or the man your grandfather actually was, or the man you think you would be if you didn't have a mortgage and a Monday morning stand-up call. Now, let's talk about the truck bed. The sacred, untouched, factory liner protected truck bed. If you want to understand the psychology of the non-hauling truck owner, study what he does with his bed. Because most of the time, the answer is nothing. Gloriously, deliberately, almost ceremoniously, nothing. He's got the spray-in liner, Rhino liner, Line X, $60 well spent to protect the surface from the cargo that will never arrive. He's got the bed cover, the retractable hard trifold tonneau cover that he read 3 articles about before buying, that he opens maybe 4 times a year, twice to show people how smoothly it opens. He might have a bed toolbox, full length, aluminum, locked, containing a socket set he bought at Harbor Freight in 2015 and a pair of jumper cables still in the original packaging, because you never know. The truck bed is not a workspace. The truck bed is a museum exhibit. It is preserved, protected, and presented. It says, this is what capability looks like, in its natural state, untouched. And here is the truly magnificent psychological layer underneath all of this. The truck owner who never hauls anything often feels more capable than the guy who actually does haul things. Because the guy who hauls things has a work truck. It's beat up. There's a scratch on the tailgate from that time he loaded a riding mower. There's dried concrete dust in the corners of the bed. That guy's truck has been used. And used things, in our culture, have a complicated relationship with status. The pristine truck communicates something different. It communicates that you are so capable, so competent, so self-sufficient, that you haven't even needed to use it yet. You're just ready. Permanently, expensively, ready. Let's talk about the purchase decision. Because this is where the psychology really gets rich. Do you know how a man decides which truck to buy? He doesn't ask, what is the maximum weight I realistically expect to tow in the next 3 years? He asks, what is the maximum weight this truck can tow? And then he buys the one that can tow the most. Not because he has a 14,000-pound boat. He doesn't have a boat. He's thinking about maybe getting a boat, or an RV, or a horse trailer, which is funny because he doesn't have horses, but his cousin has horses, and what if the cousin needed a favor? The towing capacity of a truck is a number that lives almost entirely in the imagination. It is purchased like insurance against a future that may never arrive. And the bigger the number, the more complete the feeling of preparedness. A man with a truck that can tow 14,000 pounds feels categorically more prepared than a man with a truck that can tow 10,000 pounds, even if neither of them has towed anything since helping a buddy move a couch in 2018. And let's talk about that buddy moving the couch moment, because this is a cornerstone of the non-hauling truck owner's identity. He helped somebody move. He was the guy. Call me when you need the truck. That phrase, that offer, that is worth more than the monthly payment in terms of psychological return on investment. It is the truck owner's version of a superpower. You don't have to use the superpower every day. You just have to have it. The knowledge that someone somewhere might need you and your truck. That someone will say, hey, do you know anyone with a truck? And the answer will be you that is worth $620 a month on a 72-month finance plan. Now, I want to talk about something slightly more serious, because I think there's real nuance here that deserves acknowledgement. The non-hauling truck owner is not deluded. He's not irrational. He's not making a pure mistake. He is making a very human, very understandable, culturally specific choice that makes complete sense when you understand what he's actually buying. He's not buying transportation. He's not buying hauling capacity. He's buying a version of himself. A more capable, more self-sufficient, more traditionally masculine version of himself. And for a generation of men who grew up watching their dads and grandfathers do physical, tangible work, who now spend their days in abstract knowledge economy jobs in front of screens, who live in suburbs and communicate primarily through Slack, the truck is one of the last widely available cultural artifacts that connects them to a more concrete, more physical, more grounded way of being a man. The truck says, I am someone who does things, even when I'm not doing them right now. I am the kind of person who could. And that feeling, that identity, is genuinely valuable. It is not crazy. It is deeply human. But I say all of this with full acknowledgement that it's also a little bit hilarious, because we also have to talk about the parking situation. The non-hauling truck owner does not have a small truck. He has a full-size, long-bed, crew cab, maximum configuration pickup that measures somewhere around 22 to 24 feet from bumper to bumper. And he parks this vehicle in a standard parking space, the same parking space engineered for a Honda Civic in 1987, a parking space that ends approximately 3 feet before his tailgate does. He does this every single day, in the Trader Joe's parking lot, in the office building garage where the clearance signs say 6 feet 8 inches and his truck needs 7 feet 2, and in the Home Depot parking lot. And the Home Depot lot is particularly meaningful, because that is the one place where the non-hauling truck owner feels the most like he is exactly where he belongs, surrounded by his people, even if his cart contains only a bag of mulch and 2 extension cords. The fuel economy conversation is also worth having. The non-hauling truck owner drives a vehicle that gets somewhere between 14 and 18 miles per gallon on a good day. He knows this. He has made peace with it in the same way you make peace with a character flaw you've decided is actually a virtue. Yeah, she drinks fuel, but that's because she's got the power. The engine makes the gas disappear, and the disappearance of the gas is proof that the power is real. It's not waste. It's evidence. Phillips runs 60, 80, sometimes over $100 every single week. This is not a deterrent. This is the price of being ready. This is the cost of capability. The man who drives a Prius is getting 60 miles per gallon, and what does he have to show for it? He can't tow anything. He's not ready. His existence contains no contingency plan for when things come up. And let me tell you about the truck upgrade cycle, because this is the final, most beautiful piece of the psychological puzzle. The non-hauling truck owner does not keep his truck forever. Every 3 to 5 years, something happens. A new model comes out. The new model has more horsepower. It has better torque numbers. It has a new infotainment system and a bigger touchscreen and a feature called Pro Power Onboard that turns the truck bed into a portable generator, which he will use approximately 0 times, but which is objectively a brilliant thing that exists. The new model has a slightly different grille, and the grille communicates something different, something newer, something more current. And so he trades in. The old truck, the perfectly good truck with 12,000 miles on it and a pristine, never-used bed becomes someone else's perfectly good truck. And the new truck comes home, and it sits in the driveway, and it gleams, and it is ready, more ready than before, for things that come up. The truck, in the end, is not a tool. It is a relationship. It is an ongoing, expensive, emotionally fulfilling relationship between a man and the idea of himself that he finds most worth preserving. It is his way of saying, without saying it, that he is not entirely domesticated. That underneath the mortgage and the HOA fees and the Tuesday night soccer practice and the quarterly review and the lower back pain, there is still a version of him that could handle it, could haul it, could tow it, could figure it out. And you know what? I respect that, genuinely. I think there is something worth honoring in the impulse, even if the execution involves 600 horsepower and a truck bed full of absolutely nothing. So, the next time you see a spotless F-150 sitting in a Whole Foods parking lot with the chrome still gleaming and not a single scuff on the tailgate, don't laugh, don't roll your eyes. Take a moment to appreciate the full story that truck is telling. The story of a man who is ready, who is capable, who has 14,000 pounds of theoretical preparedness available at a moment's notice. The things just haven't come up yet. But they will. He's got the truck.